had a student of mine ask me to upload a video about chords, just try and make it a bit easier at home so he's got something to reference. So here is the video. If you happen to stumble upon it yourself, I hope it helps, that'd be really good. So if you're watching it, I guess you've stumbled upon it. Chords are something that a lot of beginner guitarists find tricky, to be honest with you. They find them a bit awkward. I understand why. I remember doing the same thing myself. I much preferred learning riffs and the stuff you recognised. But to be honest with you, chords are such a massive part of what you do as a guitarist that you kind of got to learn them. They're not that hard. They can be awkward to begin with more than anything, and I think that's what puts most people off. So the definition of a chord is 3 or more notes played together. You will find some exceptions to that, being power chords mainly, interval notes, sort of 2 notes together, sometimes referred to as a power chord, but really they're just an interval chord. So that's a power chord. We're not going to look at those right now. We're going to look at 4 open chord shapes. Now when I say 3 or more notes played together, unless we pluck them, the easy or the closest a guitarist can get to playing all at the same time is to strum. So your fretting hand is the one that's holding the neck, your strumming hand is the other one, okay? So literally a strum, if you don't know, is just literally like that, down the strings. I usually use my thumb or the tips of my fingernails. You can use a plectrum if you want, I would, but they're over there and I'm over here. So yeah, so that's what your other hand does. The left hand or the fretting hand is where things get a little bit harder. We're going to learn 4 chords, as I said. We're going to do E minor 7, E minor, A, which is a bit of a step on, and then C, to kind of see where they start to get a little bit awkward, right? So E minor 7, if you know your string names, it's going to be really easy. If you don't know your string names, go and check out my other video, Strings and Things, and it will tell you about your string names. I'm pretty sure you probably know them if you're here. So I'm going to hold down, with my middle finger, I'm going to hold down fret number 2 on my A string. This is a really simple chord because that's all we have to do. That's all the fretting hand does. Okay? And when you're fretting a chord, you really want to make sure you're using the tip of your finger as much as possible. And I'll show you. You can see, hopefully, yeah, there it is. There's the line that all the guitarists moan about. That's where you should be fretting, right? We're just going to strum it. So fret number 2 on your A string gives you an E minor 7. Hopefully every string has rang out really nice and clearly. Yeah, okay. Make sure you've got plenty of room there. You can see quite a nice long gap, wide gap. That's going to give you enough room for your high E string. So moving on to E minor, really easy again. We're keeping that finger where it was. We're adding fret number 2 on the D string, okay, on my fingertips. And then we're just going to strum again. So for this chord, you should have fret number 2 on the A, fret number 2 on the D, and strum. Really easy. Okay, so we're going to kind of move down a string or up a string, depending on if you're thinking about pitch. We're going to move to the D string. Okay, that's going to be our first fretted note. So fret number 2 on the D string. Try and use your first finger there, or your middle finger. I prefer my first finger. Use your middle finger on fret number 2 on the G, and your third finger on fret number 2 on the B. Okay, now when you strum this time, don't strum the low E string, start from the A string, okay, and nice sound, cool. There's your A. Now if you can hear, each string's ringing out really clearly. If you don't get this finger right, it's going to rest on the high E string, and you're going to end up with that noise. If you end up with this noise, then you're not pressing down hard enough here somewhere, and if you get this noise, you're just resting your finger. So make sure it's clear. That might take weeks to get, so don't sort of think if you get those horrible noises, you've failed. Far from it. This is going to take a while to get right, okay? And to be honest with you, I think if you're just, there you go, you heard it yourself. If you're just, your average guitarist, even probably like the super guitarists, they're going to get some chord buzz occasionally, so don't worry about that. So you've got E minor 7, E minor, A. This is C, okay? So C is a harder one. We have to stretch. A stretch is something you should get used to as a guitarist. So we can hold down fret number 1 on the B string, okay, using your first finger. Try and use the same fingers as I use. Don't have to, but it's going to make it a bit easier. Fret number 2 on your D, okay? Oh. And then fret number 3 on your A string. Okay, you can see that's quite a stretch. Some people find it really easy, some people find it really awkward, okay? But that's a C chord. Again, with your strumming hand, you're going to start on the A string. You're going to strum through. that's chords. Okay, that's not all the chords, but that is chords. You're always going to find new chord shapes. There's always going to be one that really foxes you and makes you go, oh, I can't do this, and it's going to drive you mad. But that's fine, because that's guitar playing in general. You're always going to find something that makes you kind of think, I can't do this, I've reached my peak. If you keep persevering through it, you won't have reached your peak, trust me. You'll get through the other side, you'll be a better guitarist again, and you'll just keep moving on. And one day you'll look back at your guitar playing and think, wow, I can do this now. I can actually play my guitar. So, good luck with these. I hope it goes well. The reading of the tablets of one can be a little bit difficult, or a little bit, it's different, you know, but that's fine. We'll cover that another time. Remember to enjoy what you learn and learn what you enjoy. Have fun. Any questions, if you're watching this, put them in the comments, I believe is what they say.